All right, I'm just another guy in a t-shirt talking about records and music. I got a Star Wars t-shirt on today, but I'm not really a big Star Wars fan. I've seen the first three twice, and that's about it for me. So today, when I was living in Kingston, Ontario, it was the perfect place to go to concerts. We were about 100 miles from Ottawa and about 160 roughly miles to Toronto. So the concert I'm going to talk about today, I went to in Ottawa at the Ottawa Civic Centre, and it was July 19th, 1971. And the opening act was Yes. I never really heard too much about Yes up until that point. This came out early 1971, so it wasn't really on our radar at that point. But wow. Right after this concert, I went out and bought this album. So this is an original album bought within a 6-month period of that album coming out. And one thing I do remember about Yes was Steve Howe came out. I didn't know who he was at the time, and he did a acoustic guitar solo right in front of the band by himself, and it was like, holy shit, what is going on here? And from that moment on, had to have this album. So the band I really went to see that night was Alice Cooper, and this album was out at that time. Love it to death. It's in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. No two ways about it. They put on a great show. I saw them at the Toronto Pop Festival, which is a poster right up here somewhere, right there, in '69, and they weren't scheduled as a band then. They were brand new. They came out right around lunchtime or shortly after in the early afternoon, and they put on a show. It was like, oh, what's going on here? They were all dressed up in silver suits, and they were throwing drumsticks, and it was a real show. And so after that, a couple of years later, I guess, Alice Cooper was playing in Ottawa, and I said, I'm going to that. And so we went, and they didn't disappoint at all. They put on a great show. The bass player would creep in and out of the behind speakers and amps, and Alice Cooper was handing dollar bills off a sword into the crowd, and they did the electric chair thing, and this has been one of my favorite albums ever since, although I heard it before I went to the concert. And the opening band that night was, I only have these on little mini albums here, little CDs. And the opening act was Black Sabbath. So they played some songs from Paranoid, of course. And this album came out shortly after, if we can get the glare off the thing, Master of Reality. But the problem with Black Sabbath, they came on stage and their amps were turned up to 11. There's no two ways about it. It was definitely a loud, way too loud. They had Marshall amp stacks behind them, and you could tell they weren't quite in the right state of mind to be playing a concert. They looked pretty drunk, and they were right out of it. So within about 4 songs, they cleared out half of the Civic Centre in Ottawa, just literally. And we were amongst them because it was so loud and so out of tune and everything that I hate to say that because I do like Black Sabbath, but there comes a time when, you know, at the concert, we got ripped off. We got burnt real bad. We bought a bag of weed, and I don't know what we were trying to smoke, but it wasn't what we expected. So this is there was a great experience nonetheless. Alice Cooper, and discovered Yes at the same time. So I loved it to death.